Elden Ring is an amazing game, probably one that will be cited as one of the best games of the decade. There's a lot to praise about, from the world itself, the characters, the story, the build variety, the combat. It's all great, but there's one controversial aspect of the game: the boss fights. A lot of people argue that bosses in the game are terrible, overtuned, unfair, or signifying that bosses will be bad in the next game. Yes, that's something that Joseph Anderson argued. I am not strawmanning or taking things out of context. But a decent chunk of these statements are half-truths at best, and serve no basis in reality at worst. Let's look at some of these general complaints and look at the bosses that are being complained about the most, and I'll show you why these bosses are actually amazing. There are a lot of criticisms about Elden Ring's bosses. We'll be looking at general examples people draw on first, then getting to specifics. In Joseph Anderson's video, he argues that during a combo, you have no way to interact and the only thing you can do is dodge. Also, if you want to see a quote, you can just pause the video. The same point is said in Feeble King's video on Elden Ring's bosses. This is simply untrue. Something I noticed about Elden Ring is when I was going against bosses that the tracking is a lot less strong in this game, allowing a lot more modes we can dodge an attack by positioning alone. While in previous Souls games you dodge an attack, and then you attack, and then dodge another, and then repeat until one of you is dead. In Elden Ring, it's very common to be attacking during an enemy's attack. Malenia is the boss that encourages the most, as her lightest ways to be punished by a swift attack, which encourages you to be very active. The length of the combos is balanced out by the amount of times you can attack the enemy in the middle of one. So while the combos are definitely longer, this has been made up by being able to reliably attack in the middle of one. But it's not just the combos that are causing a lot of deaths in Elden Ring. Delayed attacks are also a hot topic. Delayed attacks have been largely complained about due to the nature of being less intuitive than the immediate attacks you are used to. However, delayed attacks are not inherently stronger than regular attacks, besides maybe dealing more damage in some cases. In fact, the existence of delayed attacks allowed opportunities to heal, do damage, and other actions that get you closer to winning. All that is required is to not panic roll and actually take action. Delayed attacks can create difficulty by breaking up the rhythm of the boss you are using, but can also lessen difficulty by allowing you to attack mid-combo. Once again, this creates a more active battle. Think about delayed attacks like smash attacks in Super Smash Bros. They may do a lot of damage, but they are easy to punish and interrupt. One final thing that is largely complained about is the input rating. Let's talk about it. Input rating is when a boss sees an animation and does a programmed response to it, like the Godskin's Fireball attack being the most infamous example of this. This is mostly done by using flasks, which may seem unfair at first, which it is. However, I think this is a way of telling the player something. Play more actively. In previous Souls games, you could easily run away and then heal. Elden Ring doesn't want you to do that. Again, it wants you to use your flask after a successful dodge between delayed attacks. All of this continues to add up to encourage active play. However, animation rating also applies to attacking. Thankfully, most of these responses are slow enough so you can only get guaranteed punishes on heavy attacks. For ones that can punish regular attacks, yeah, that's unfair, I have to admit that. However, they are few and far between, so you don't have to sweat bullets over if you can punish or not 99% of the time. Now we've covered the defensible complaints, let's go on to the bosses themselves. To start with the bosses that have annoyed some players, let's look at Morgott, or Morgott, but they're so similar that they're basically interchangeable. The main complaint about this fight is that his combos last too long and is too hard to punish. If you're going the usual, stay back to heal and only push attacks playstyle, it may seem that way, because during my second playthrough when I wanted to beat Morgott without Malenia, I was getting bodied. It seemed like his combos were going on for too long and I was barely getting any hits in. But then I switched my mindset for one attempt. What if I never stopped my offense and healed next to him? And the results were, well, look at my gameplay to get a general idea of how it went. If Morgott's person to set up the player to learn how to deal with delayed attacks, Morgott's was a change or playstyle to be more aggressive. And no, standing next to the boss for a few seconds only to cower for the next 30 does not count, Feeble King. This theme continues with more bosses that push this playstyle in different ways. Let's go through a lightning round of Elden Ring bosses to continue this theme of encouraging unmitigated aggression. Radahn is one of the few bosses in Elden Ring that is built around silence due to his massive sweeping blows, but also isn't a pain for solo play. Because his weapons are swinging at the air, that's a perfect time to strike back. While Sidious Sax's attack, where he keeps teleporting in front of you and swipes with his claws, provides a great rhythm of attack and dodge, and the attack gets bonus points for making the most out of the camera during a giant boss fight. Take notes, Fire Giant. EDP-445, also known as Moog, is probably tied for the best boss fight in the game, alongside his brother Morgott. His delayed attacks feel incredibly natural and once again encourage a ruthless playstyle. The one problem I have with this attack being knee heal being unavoidable, but that's a small blemish on an astounding fight. Overall, don't listen to Shammy, this boss fight is fantastic. Speaking of pure evil bosses, number 15, Praetor Rykard. Rykard fixes the usual problem of giant bosses not handling the camera well by giving you a train-sized weapon and a pool of lava surrounding the boss to tell you to stay back a bit. Not only that, but the delayed attacks feel natural, especially this one. The delay comes from Rykard dragging his sword across the ground. My main complaints of this fight are the two unavoidable attacks, but if it couldn't drag down Moog, then Rykard also stays up there. The final boss I want to talk about is Malekith. People really like to complain about, but I think he's great. Plenty of attacks we avoid with positioning alone, and most of the time, it's just by standing right next to him. Once again, this encourages active playstyles, but there's one more final boss fight we need to talk about, the neon-colored elf in the room that's not your mother. Malenia is both the hardest boss in Elden Ring and the most controversial. Her aggression is unmatched by any other Elden Ring boss, which Joseph Anderson argues is too aggressive and it takes too long to get a safe hit in. I heavily disagree, as her ability to be stunned by attacks rewards immediately punishing whiffed attacks. Some attacks of Hyper Arm cannot be interrupted, but figuring out which attacks are armored or not is a quick process. One final complaint is her self-healing, but I say it balances her ability to be knocked out of a combo, but there are some problems with the fight. If his attack of hers waterfowl dance, an attack that would easily delete your entire health bar multiple times or not dodge it correctly. That being said, this attack has a reliable way to avoid by running away with a jump in the middle, rolling to the right, then rolling back twice. Some people say this attack encourages being passive, but I say it punishes getting greedy. When her health bar hits the halfway mark, you know that she can delete you if you're not careful, so use light attacks to punish instead of heavy attacks or weapon art. Another problem is the amount of armored attacks in the second phase, which have the property of canceling your stat if you land a blow that would have knocked her down to armored state. Also, the attack that is the biggest problem for me is not waterfall dance, but the attack where she uses a bunch of clones to attack you, as if you hit her during the start, you are guaranteed to die. Overall, I'd say Malenia gets too much hate, and it's actually pretty great. Bars. But why do the bosses get so much hate if it's undeserved? My main fear for why the bosses get so much hate is expectations. A lot of people, when giving a game that's pretty similar to Dark Souls 3, they expect the boss to be the same in strengths and weaknesses. However, that's not what we ended up getting. What we got are bosses that are much more aggressive, but were easier to attack mid-combo. Not everyone got the second part, so instead of adapting by adopting a more active playstyle, they blamed the boss design. And a lot of people listen to confirm their biases due to the fear that bosses were too hard. Our thing to note is that most of these playthroughs of people who criticize the boss were on their first or second, and there's not much room to properly gauge the boss's quality with one or two playthroughs in mind. For comparison, I've beaten this game 6 times. But there is some credit to give where it's due. Most of the duo boss fights are unbalanced and unfun, and unavoidable attacks are downright unfair, although they are very rare. Bars. And half the bosses in the mountaintops of giants are downright egregious. Those bosses being Commander Niall, Fire Giant, Godskin Duo, and Elden Beast, with the other half being good, those being Loretta, Malenia, Malekith, Godfrey, and Radagon. There are good points, but they're drowned out by unwarranted complaints of people who try to play the game that isn't Dark Souls 3, like it's Dark Souls 3. If you want some proof that I'm not talking completely nonsensical information on how aggression will yield better results, compare the gameplay of those boss critiques to my own gameplay that I have provided. I think it's made evident that I believe Elden Ring bosses are meant to be played more actively. If you don't believe me, here's the challenge. Go through Elden Ring again, but only get out of range of a boss to dodge an attack that absolutely needs it, like an AoE attack, a double swipe attack from Morgott or Malekith, or waterfowl dance. Only heal during the end lag of an attack, and attack as much as you can during delayed attacks. You'll be surprised at the results, and most of these criticisms apply to melee-only builds, so most of this video is completely irrelevant. But if you're a melee-only player, try some aggression. Not only is it really fun, but it can give you an easier time if you know the dodges. And if you've gotten this far, why not comment down below what you think? And who knows, if you like this video enough that you want to see more of my content, maybe subscribe too. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.